okay? The other thing I'd say about storytelling is people watching. How many of you like to kind of sit in the airport or sit in the, we used to sit in malls. I know we don't really go to malls anymore now, but we used to sit in the airport or go to malls and sit down and just kind of people watch. Raise your hand. Give me a reaction if you're a people watcher, right? So people watchers, for those of you is a great way to kind of build your repertoire of stories, all right? So again, the idea here is storytelling is just another way to connect with others. So what I want to do is kind of show you a little technique, right? And you can look at page 10 of your handout on this idea of effective narrative. And effective narrative typically has a few different key elements. For simplicity's sake, I broke it up into 3. So we've got Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. All right, so Act 1. So the first part of the story is the backdrop, right? It's what are the stakes at hand? It's who are the heroes, right? The idea in Act 1 is to immerse your audience in the story and compel others to listen. What do you want them to feel? What do you want them to believe? What do you want them to remember from your story? How many of us have had that experience where the story goes on and on and on, and then you start wondering, was there a point to that story? How many of us have had that? Yeah, Jennifer's smiling, right? So what I would say is tell your story quickly, be concise, and get to the point, okay? Be authentic, not over the top, be your true self. And then people need to care, right? People need to feel that sense of care or passion or connection that you're portraying in your story. All right, so that's Act 1. Act 2. So Act 2 is the journey, the climax, right? The suspense, okay? Vivid details matter, all right? So bring enough detail to your character to make them come to life. Another thing you might consider in your stories is see if you can tie them back to basic values. And then show, don't tell. Right, so try dialogue instead of narration. That also is a good way to help your characters come to life in your stories. And then the last piece is Act 3, right? This is the victory, the moral of the story, the lesson learned. You might build up to something that's sometimes referred to as the star moment, something they'll always remember, all right? Something they'll always remember. Try to make that story memorable.